Good evening, good evening, good evening again, everyone there in all of our viewers. We want to welcome you to another edition of my Lutheran Connections. Um, Today we are having an open conversation. Uh, as you all know, today the Lutheran Church in Liberia consecrated her fifth bishop, um, and the ceremony was actually colorful. Uh, but before we go too deep into our program for today, we want to welcome our ambassador there in Freetown, Sierra Leone, from our studios there, and also our studios there in the state of Connecticut, our brother Josiah Jokai, our Reverend, the only Reverend on the show, Reverend V. Zesta Yakwazo, will be joining us very shortly from our studios there in Columbus, Ohio. Team, I want to say good evening and welcome. It is raining and the thunderstorm is very very high up here at my down here at my area. So I don't know for you guys.
Thank you,
Hey,
Willie.
thank you, Willie. Oh, Ambassador, yeah, you can go, sir.
Joe. Thank you, Willie.
Yeah,
It's like the people usually say, it is cool and calm at my end. Yeah, there is no much um rain, and the weather has just been cool. And you know, honestly, in Liberia it was sunny, and it was a very good weather for our occasion today, because our bishop and the rest of the clergymen and the laities had to walk, and so the sun, so God was just on our side, man. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Willie. Wow, it's strange, to know that you're having rains out there, in Georgia. It's so strange at this point. We should be celebrating the summer. I got 83 degrees. I got 83 degrees here right now. It's hot. it's it's
Yeah,
hot. Yeah.
we are having a very terrible scatter thunderstorm at this time, to be honest.
It's hot, and interestingly, it's not that humid. So the weather is good. The weather is good today. We've been out there. The kids and I've been out there a lot. We came back. I got them to jump in the pool for some time, and I just, sent them back upstairs. And so I'm down here now, like you say, in our studio here from Connecticut, ready for today's discussion. So,
Yes, sir.
Ambassador, it's good to see you. I miss you a lot. And later on, I will hit you up. I don't like your response to my comment. To my comment. I will hit you up so you can tell me why. You got me laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. and I couldn't also respond to your comment. Yeah. But that was good. At least you gave me reason to laugh to laugh a lot this
Yeah.
yeah.
Dala himself could not say anything much, because he knew from whence you come. So you say, let me tell you that, man. I'll pretend able to say I didn't see it.
I'm not the one saying it. It's on you. So I hope Dala doesn't come at me. You will come at you. We need to find a way, Willie, to have Dala sit down with us. Dala is one of those illustrious leaders we have in the church. Currently, he's parish council chair at St. Peter's. We are very proud to have people like Dala in leadership in the church and making a difference. So I think there are a lot of things he can talk to us about, programmatic issues. He's been with the LCL HIV/AIDS program for a very long time. In fact, he's referenced as one of the pioneers, working with COPA, who initiated the program. Dala will have a lot to talk to us about how they went about it, how it benefited the church, and what can we do again? Maybe what can we do again to, restore the program to that level? It's quite important to have somebody like Dala coming from the youth, graduating, to the men's auxiliary, and then coming over to, the leadership of the parish, of the cathedral of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. I think we should find a way for Dala to sit with us and have some meaningful conversation. Now that we have a new leadership, and what are some of the things he thinks that because when it comes to policy, in a church, development in the church, we should be talking to people like Dala. He's well situated. What are his thoughts going forward now that we have a new bishop?
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with you. Our church is actually rich with a lot of resource for people, and like you said, Dala is one of them. So yeah, there is a need that we get him on the show. Um, we are going to be we are scheduling a public health um, conversation, which of course um, like you said, we're going to be getting Dala to come on the show. We are in talks with Dr. Ulysses Burley. He's another HIV expert. He is from the ELCA. Very fine young man. I've worked with him. He and I did attend um, the International AIDS Conference in South Africa. He then also Dr. Harris, Dr. Samuel Harris.
Yeah.
We are in conversation with him too. He has also given his consent to appear on the show. But hey, today is the LCL. We have a new phase of the LCL.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you guys make
I'm looking at I'm looking at the pictures. I'm looking at the
absolutely,
pictures.
and I'm just going to share just for our viewers. I'm just going to share this image real quick. I got it from Dallas page. Yeah. So the Lutheran Church in Liberia, sixth annual leadership installation ceremony. Yep. So the outgoing Reverend Dr. D. Jensen Sianklo and the bishop now, because the time has passed for incoming, he is now the Bishop Right Reverend G. Victor Patmo. Yeah. Did you all follow the show today? And first of all, we want to say hats off to our brother and our partner Moses Cole. Moses Cole have been covering the program from morning to now. We want to recognize that. Want to recognize our brother
Willie,
Moses.
sorry for the break-in. Is Mo joining us? Moses joining us for this conversation?
Moses is currently at the ceremony. He's covering the ceremony, but he's going to take time to join us. So we are we in conversation with Moses. And also, I just like to recognize quickly. I just want to recognize quickly our brother there in Lusaka, Zambia, brother Chiluwa Unlumbi,
Yeah.
Ungulubi, Chiluwa Ungulubi.
I
Our
think
brother.
you got the last one. The
Yeah,
last one.
Ungulubi. I read this book, Whip Notcha, Ungugui Watiango.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we want to recognize our brother there in Lusaka, Zambia. Yeah. So, but what do you all make of the program today? For me, the program was colorful. I did not listen to the full message of our bishop. I did not have the chance to listen to it. But I watched part of the program. I watched most of the dinner ceremony that is ongoing. I watched it. It's a wonderful event. I mean, there are a lot of great speeches, representations from the church in Sierra Leone, the Lutheran Church um, in Nigeria. I mean, the entire West African region. ELCB is represented. ELC is represented, and ALLIA is also represented. By the way, at some time in a program, to our viewers, ALLIA is having her assembly coming up. They will be speaking to us briefly. They are at the event. So, yeah, our ambassador there. What do you make of the program today?
Well, Willie, I must be frank. I was very, very astonished. I would say astonished for the fact that I started the show the program from the parade. I think they started parading from 9th Street to 14th Street to the St. Peter's Lutheran Church. And those pastors during the campaign time that I saw at one another throat. I just saw them in jubilant mood, everybody laughing and everybody hugging each other and joining the parade. And, and some of them like, oh, it's my first time meeting you. And so I was saying to myself, but I mean, everything we've been saying on the show is just important, that we got to be able to look at some real policy reform that will help our church to move forward. And if, for example, the whole issue of election maybe uh, brings some form of, negative dividend, let me put it that way, then there is a need for us to revisit some of the policies and some of the, provisions in the Constitution that will speak to that issue. Like Councillor Boston Colley stated that they can go ahead to do the selection, but there's a way that they can do it to allow the laities to participate, and we minimize or attempt to mitigate, some of the unforeseeable, menace that may happen. But by and large, to answer your question directly, Willie, I just thought that these people, our clergy people, are great people, and sometimes we as laities, we get so emotive to the point where we blow things out of proportion. But the way in which I saw those ministers today hawking themselves and laughing and jubilating, I was just kind of, wow. I never thought that this would have happened ever. Never thought that this would have happened, especially Fireburn Reverend P. And he's been one of the persons who have been speaking out. And he has been one of the persons too on our show who have been largely accused of so many different things. And fortunately for me, my eyes saw that most of the people who were accusing him were the same people hawking him today, and they were moving on. So I said, wow, this is great. And I hope that it continues. And I hope Reverend Padmo will want to take advantage or leverage the positives and try to see how he can include all of these pastors and other brilliant people in the church with ideas, people like us, people in the other parishes and districts, so that we can be able to make the LCL the way in which we want it to be. So basically, that's it. Joe,
Hey,
what did you see?
Ambassador, the first thing is that I did not follow the program, when it was happening. I think I just saw some posts on Facebook, like I was showing you guys the pictures moments ago. I didn't really follow the program, but I was very optimistic that it was going to go well, just as it happened. For several reasons. I know that when elections happen, people can be at each other's throat. People can be very aggressive. Sometimes they can go beyond people's imagination in terms of their actions, the way they attack each other, throw talks at each other, and sometimes even they can become physical at some point, becomes brutal. But and after that, you see everyone coming together as though nothing ever happened, in the recent past. But again, usually the optic can mean different things. Sometimes people meet together, they hug each other and laugh with each other. But the thoughts, beliefs are different. And that is why I agree with you 100% that the new bishop and his leadership really have a challenge of bringing people together, people who will not be able to voice out to people who they believe wronged them in the past. It's a difficult situation to reconcile people like that. When they meet in the public, it is different. All you see is laughter, is smiles, beaming smiles, is a happy mood. But sometimes that's the deception of life. And we're not saying that people really hold stuff against each other in our church. Pastors do, but the fight is that there are some divisions in the church amongst the pastors. And it was demonstrated during the elections, and some of them are hurt. They were victim of the situation, the manner in which it happened. You wouldn't just slide the issue of Reverend Davis, denial under the table or sweep it under the rug. You have to sit with her. The bishop will have to take that as a project on his own to deal with. He will have to take the Gogba issue as well as an issue of concern, where the whole idea or theory of them versus us, the U.S. versus Liberian Lutheran situation, which many of the pastors have alluded to on our show, that is an issue. And they think that in the context of a genuine reconciliation, it is something for them to pick up, something for them to look at. And in fact, even during the proposed constitutional reform process, they think that some lines should be inserted in whatever is going to be called a revised constitution, so that it deals with that problem. The issue of registered pastors or roster pastors, non-roster pastors, pastors who are on leave, or pastors who travel with, the consent or acquiescence of the leadership, how to deal with situations like that. Those are some of the tricky balances that we have that we need to revisit, so that we can deal with the division that such vices bring into perspective. Now we are faced with. But on the overall, I think having a new bishop is something we need to pat ourselves on the shoulder for. We have done well as a church to have an election and have a leadership transition. Leadership transition, not just in Liberia, across the world, is a serious issue. People find it very difficult to leave power. They try to hold on power at all costs. And if we can have election in our church and have other candidates who participated concede and then support the winner of the election to the extent that we have the kind of transition that occurred today with the consecration of the bishop. In fact, he's no longer incumbent, right? Once the consecration happened, then the bishop takes over, right? Yeah. So
the bishop is in charge.
Is it safe to call him the former bishop? Is it safe to call Jensen the former bishop of the?
We call him Bishop Emeritus.
Yeah, but he's a former bishop. Bishop
Emeritus.
Yeah. He's no longer a bishop. He was.
That
bishop. Once a bishop is always a bishop.
It's always a bishop. That's a clergy.
Yeah,
that's a clergy winner.
Bataro.
Yeah.
He's a clergy. He will forever be a clergy. But now he's just Bataro. He's a former bishop or Bishop Emeritus.
Yeah.
So now we have a new bishop as of today, and we want to say congratulations to the Right Reverend Victor Patmore, for assuming the responsibility of Christ's people as our leader, as the head of our church, the LCL. This is historic, and I think everybody is going to be celebrating the manner and form in which the consecration was done. People from all over. I saw people from Lofa County, from Bond County, from the different counties. They all trooped
from the southeast as well.
From the southeast, they all trooped into Monrovia, and they were part of the program. I think it is something that we all should embrace. And I think, on the other hand, Ambassador, when you ask me for my opinion, another dimension I like to chip in has to do with the way the bishop perceive, the consecration, the colorful nature of it, the support from every nook and cranny, from everywhere. I think, Ambassador, he needs to see this as a challenge, as a major challenge for him to be able to make a difference. That's what I think. I think he should be able to step up his game from day one, because I'm not sure he's going to have a honeymoon. Usually when people win elections and things, and they assume, Reverend Dennis, we want to welcome you. He's the president of the Association of Liberian Lutherans in the Americas. We are always happy to have him sit with us. Very.
But I saw Reverend Dennis. I saw Reverend Dennis at the program.
I wanted to say he's currently head of delegation at the program. He's currently
Yeah,
head of delegation.
I'm sitting at the Lutheran compound here. I left the program.
I knew I saw
Yes.
somebody like him.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
I knew
goodness,
my
I
eyes
didn't
were
see
not
him.
deceiving me.
I thought you guys were joking. I didn't see you at the program. I saw is Maria there?
Yes, Maria is here. I am here. Dr. Anderson is here, and Sister Dada Gayflow is here.
Wonderful. That's good. Oh, you mean they are, when you say is here, you mean they are there with you where you are
We
seated?
are at the honoring dinner of the ongoing administration and by the incoming administration. The dinner is at the conclusion stage now, but I had to be here, so I left.
It is wonderful. And Pastor, please don't hold back. Anybody who wants to come, to appear in the video, please have them come on. If they want to say something,
if you want to take a look at the site, except I mute my microphone when I'm done talking to you, but I can take it in there so you can take a look. I think the bishop will be closing with some remarks soon. So if you want me to take that before I talk to you,
go to the bishop. Tell the bishop we congratulate him, Dr. Dennis. We appreciate it. Tell him he just want to say hello on the show. It's enough for the bishop to say hello on the show or say a few words on the show. Excellent. The bishop should stop and talk to us.
He
should stop and talk to us.
I might be able to get a new bishop easily than the bishop.
No, it's a new bishop.
It's a new bishop we're talking about.
It's a new bishop we're talking about. The new bishop should come in and say something to us on the show.
Just say hi to us.
Talking. I'm going to mute my microphone and I will get him for you. Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, we want him to speak to. We want him to speak to the larger Lutheran body to give his greetings.
I will make sure I get him. Give me like 2-3 minutes. Let me get into the hall.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to mute my video and my microphone till I get in the hall, and I'll put it back on.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So, Ambassador, Willie, the point I was making about the bishop seeing this as a challenge, I'm sure you guys agree that he shouldn't just be carried away, by the romantic nature of the occasion, everybody mingling and having conversation, the beaming smiles, the laughter, the honors, and everything. But I think it comes with a huge responsibility. That is an expression of the measure of the expectations that the people in the church have. I think that's what they are demonstrating. And that's what all of us demonstrating, that there's a need, for him to just take off, for his leadership to take off. So I'm not sure he's going to have any space for any kind of honeymoon. I'm not sure. I don't know what you guys think.
I want to jump.
Okay, where are you coming? Yeah, where are you coming?
Yeah, quickly. I just want to jump in on what our dear brother and colleague Joka is speaking of. With the new bishop, I don't think from our recent interactions with the bishop, Bishop Patmo, I don't think he's going in. He entered into the office today thinking that there's a honeymoon. I know. I can tell that he knows very well that he's entering a rough terrain, and that's the reason why he's sending out this message to everyone that he needs everyone on board. From the honoring ceremony where he was, honoring the outgoing bishop, the remarks he made before presenting that before presenting the certificate or the plaque, before he gave the plaque to the outgoing Bishop Sianklo, he turned to the delegation from West Africa and told them, "So look, I need you all, and what Jensen has started, we're going to do more. Johnson had just started it, but I'm coming and I need you. We need to do more." So I'm saying this to say that he knows very well.
Let me stop you there before I lose my thought. What did he say Jensen started? Was he specific about what Jensen started?
No, he was not specific. I think it's like a relationship. I think he was making reference to relationship.
Joe, stop this, please.
Relationship.
Jensen started. And he will continue.
He said Jensen started.
When he please speak, Joe won't be critical. Jensen started.
You know what? I was saying quickly that I want to ask a question. I want to ask a question. Why the mass started from 9th Street? Is it because we got a property on 9th Street?
No,
but
Joe, I think it was just coincidental.
I'm just kidding.
But more besides that, I think the sun was very hot, And
Okay, we go to the hall.
Yeah, we are in the hall. We are in the hall at this time. So folks, we just
Oh, I think the outgoing bishop is speaking. He has
yes,
a
the
yeah.
beautiful.
outgoing.
He has a beautiful gown. I think he was.
We will. Okay. Oh, sorry.
No,
I
so
think. Yeah, Dr. Dennis
yeah,
is.
he muted himself. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I wanted to have said something. Joe, I tried to listen. Once Reverend Dennis is ready, he can just signal us. We'll stop.
He will signal us.
And
Yeah.
I think Joe, then you would just take the lead on it to thank the bishop on our behalf and remind him that he still got his commitment for next Sunday. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, he knows that.
Absolutely. He was committed to next Sunday by Reverend Pay, right?
No,
Yeah.
he's fully aware. In a meeting, okay, in a meeting.
Willie, don't put this on yourself. Reverend Pay said the thing on the show. Let's put it on Reverend Pay.
Reverend Pay said it. Reverend Pay said it, but he also confirmed in a meeting.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
In a meeting,
That's good.
In a meeting when I had the opportunity to speak with him directly.
Absolutely.
He did assure us that he will be here next week. But
Good.
Reverend Pay, Reverend Thomas E. Pay assured us that the bishop
will sit with us.
Next Sunday. And I will tell everyone on the
Joe,
show that before Brother Kekani that the flyer will be up as early as tomorrow.
Yeah.
Joe, you can just hit it from that angle and make sure I know how you can make things tick. You make it tick.
So
there we go.
I will soon be getting the bishop. Y'all be patient. They're concluding now, okay?
You are fine. You are fine, Reverend. You are fine. Yeah.
You are good.
Fine. Okay.
You are good, Reverend.
Thank you. So, Joe,
Dr. Dennis is really enjoying Liberia. Ambassador Dr. Dennis is really enjoying Monrovia. I mean, I can see
that is what I noticed. I've been seeing him all over the place, but I was kind of, wow, is this Reverend Dr. Dennis? But I was not too sure until I saw the picture. I wanted to ask him, and he just confirmed. But Joe, I wanted to say something to you and Willie. I happen to have listened to part of the sermon of the bishop now, and it was his first sermon as a bishop, and I think he wrapped so many things in that sermon. And one of the things that predominantly came up as I was listening, directly or indirectly, was the issue of reconciliation and the issue of inclusivity, to make sure that everybody will be on board, and also to ensure that the LCL is reconciled.
Yeah.
So I think if we are looking at priorities on his agenda, I think if you see something being repetitive in the speech of a particular person, then that means that is what the person decided to highlight. Right. And so it looks like as part of Bishop Padmo, first 6 months in office as bishop, he already drawing a roadmap for reconciliation and inclusion. And I think there is, those are the two good places to start. You understand? Because once we can reconcile the church, and once we can get everybody on board, bringing in the opinion and bringing in the expertise, we can now be able to say, look, we are heading somewhere. So I believe that the strategy, whosoever, trying to help him to drive that strategy, is a very, very good strategy to begin with, to ensure that reconciliation is.
I'm here with the bishop. He will be coming soon.
I'll be there soon.
He's coming soon.
All right.
That's wonderful.
So that is
here, Ambassador. You don't want to recognize Reverend Yakpasua? Don't make Reverend Yakpasua.
And that's his
no. I purposely came here for Joe, because I heard the way Joe became I heard the way Joe became overcritical with ecclesiastical issues. So I decided that look, I'll come from doing everything I'm doing and I will arrive here because I need to let Joe understand that before you talk about those ecclesiastical issues, you got to be very careful, especially on this kind of day. You know?
You see?
Reverend, congratulations to you. Reverend, congratulations to you.
You wanted to throw it at me, Reverend Yabazo King or Soku. You see that what happened?
I'm here. You know.
Reverend,
I gotta go over there quickly.
I submit, Reverend. I submit.
But let me just conclude. As I was saying, that is what I really heard in that message. For me, that was my takeaway. My takeaway from the Reverend's sermon was just the highlight of that whole reconciliation and the issue of inclusion. And I think it was repetitive, and I think that is a very good roadmap. I mean, have inclusive, leadership, bringing everybody on board, the expertise, and also ensuring that we reconcile the church. So once that has been recognized, as some other people are trying to deny that the church is that divided, so once that has been recognized, I believe, in my opinion, is starting on a very, very good footing. I don't know if Reverend listened to part of the homily, but they are the people who can dissect. So maybe if he listened, you'll be able to explain more to us on what was the thinking or the frame of mind of the bishop in terms of driving the church forward.
Yeah, before Reverend goes into the bishop, state of mind when he was driving home that message, let me just ask Willie to put up the message that he put up, the comment that he put up, because I pick up something from there. I want to be very sure about what I want to say. Is that Hine? Is that from Hine? Or?
Oh, that's Reverend Willie Hine.
Reverend Willie Hine. Okay, he's talking about, it was historic, and indeed it's historic. That's why you see all of us celebrating here. But he's praying for Bishop Patmo, to visit all LCL churches, local, national, to listen to all of our members from where they are, understand what they will say, analyze their sayings, and later come up with plans based on the views of the. Well, I think this is possible through the LCL structure. But for the bishop to sit at all of the preaching points, at all of the parishes, if that is what Reverend is alluding to, I think is something that we all have to reconsider in terms of rethinking, because if you want to have the bishop visit all of the parishes,
then we have to amend the constitution for the turning to be extended.
Then it would just be the end of his tenure. That's the only thing he will do for his entire, tenure.
For his entire life, he'll become a bishop.
But through the structures, the districts, the executive committee, the people can speak through those different structures, which is possible. I just wanted to, highlight that dimension so that we don't start that way. And as much is expected of the bishop, much is also expected of us, as Lutherans, to give the necessary support in every respect. Whatever we can do in our weak ways to support the leadership, we have to do that, especially if the leadership open its arms and ready to work with everybody. That's a good thing. We all should be able to respond positively. But look, we are talking about where the leadership is going from today. There are critical issues. We can't stop being critical.
No.
Because like we talk about the issues of division in our church, nobody can color that. It's not a colorful thing. Look, it's clear. And some of the issues have been discussed here by leaders of our church. The clergy, clergymen have been here. We have had legal luminaries here to talk about it, other professionals to talk about the different aspects of division in our church. But we are glad that the leadership is showing signal of openness, of working with everybody. And some of the issues to look at, like Councilor lifted the last time, the property issue. That is very critical. Parishes are personalizing properties of the LCL. How do you take it from them? Bishop has to get ready for that. You have the issue of the pension. Pastors, this has been a crucial issue, and Reverend Zester Yakwazo can agree with me on that. Pastors are concerned about how they're going to improve that. Their livelihood assurance after their pastoral responsibilities, what happens to them? These are serious concerns. The educational system, How do you establish an umbrella educational system in the church that is effective when parishes are owning their own educational institutions and their educational programs? How do you make it a property of the church so that the church runs it effectively like other denominations? They say the Methodists, the Baptists, and other institutions is working effectively for them. Are there things we can borrow from them to be able to do it better from our end? These are concerns. How the bishop wants to go about reconciliation. What is the strategy? What is the approach? And that's why I say and really agree that, hey, we're not going to have any period for honeymoon for the leadership. No. And I'm sorry, Reverend Yakwazu, if that's one of the things you want to prosecute me for. But the fact is that there will be no honeymoon for you guys, So let me stop your ambassador. Maybe we can go to the Reverend, for some comments.
Yeah, so again, I'm excited. That I watched the program today, and like I said, I was coming on and said, well, I heard Joe talking about Bishop Sianko. Is he a former bishop or bishop emeritus? What are the titles? What title should we call him? At that time, I said, no, I need to go to this show to tell Joe, the bishop is still a bishop, bishop emeritus. I watched the event and I was trying to imagine whether I easily understood that 10 years passed so fast, especially when I saw there were memorable things I watched in that event today. I saw when I physically and practically saw the change of seat in St. Peter's, when after the rites was read and after Bishop Padmore had prostrated himself to the floor and gotten up and worn his gown and being handed the shepherd rod and this pastoral whip to straighten any pastor any sheep who would easily want to be beyond control. And I know that was passed on to him by the late Bishop Harris. I remember because I was at that program. And now he passed it on to Bishop Padmore. And he told Bishop Padmore, I didn't have the opportunity to use this. And I pray you may not have it, but if it need be, you can use it. And so those two things
on Josiah Jokai.
Yeah, those two things were handed over to Bishop Padmore. But normally, it's not intended for Joe. It's intended for us who are into that ecclesiastical lineup, because if our Joe pastor and can deal with Joe, the bishop will not have to come way there. But the bishop will have to deal with me, and then I will have the means to deal with Joe. So when I saw that when he arrived back, symbolically, those are the things that moved me today. When he arrived back to the altar, and then Bishop Siankolo had to move from his original seat in the cathedral to take the lower seat and grant him, the sitting capacity where he had to sit now and say, yeah, besides speaking what we spoke, now you have the time to sit in your original seat that you're going to be sitting for the next 6 years. I saw beauty today, and I will tell you, unity started. Let me tell you how unity started. I told you guys before on this show, I said we make a lot of noise as pastors, but when the time comes to getting the red stool and white gown, you will not see that noise anymore. And even today, when the bishop called, when the outgoing bishop or current bishop emeritus and retire, I like to put it that way, retire and emeritus bishop, Daniel Jensen Siankolo, called on the deans to arrive. When the issue of the holiness of ordination was taking place, there were a lot of people in that church who did not see that. All of you saw it today because the sophistication of cameras made you to see that. But normally in old time, people sitting in the congregation don't see what happened in that cycle. When they leave the cycle, before they want to hear, okay, the man is finally, put into office and stuff like that. But everything that happened over there, all of us had the means to physically see it today because of camera. And when the deans were called, and visiting bishops were called to come around, even by the extension of hands in blessing the bishop, realized that all those hands were not for the bishop when they were election. All those hands had their own parties. All those hands had their own candidates. But when it came to putting him into office today, into that holiness of office, the unity had to begin from right there. Everybody will have to lift the hand and stretch it forward and say, now this is our leader. We are calling on God to bless him with the wisdom requires and needed so that he can lead us. No matter where we come from, what candidate we supported, we've done with that now. We've come to the point where all of us will have to support this person to move our church forward. And I know that Bishop Padmore understands the challenges of this church because he contested 3 times and lost. And he won the 4th time. He understands that the church got challenges. And he is prepared. I'm convinced that he's prepared. I'm waiting for him to prove me wrong, but I'm convinced that he's prepared to meet up to the challenges. This time around, it's not somebody from overseas. It's somebody on the ground. It doesn't take him 1 year, 365 days to understand what is going on. Because somebody will say, oh, well, the man came from overseas, and it got to take him some time to understand how the church runs here and how things work. But he's been there with the people. He's been there and done. He understands what's going on. He knows how things going to run. I'm looking forward to him doing the best, and I'm looking forward to him running the LCL. I'm still looking forward to bishops that will come with the vision of also trying to decentralize this church. They need to understand that the church is getting bigger. And if one bishop if we will expect one bishop to help this church, that's lie. And the deans will not have the authority to do what they ought to do because they are not elected. They are appointed by the bishop. Until we can structure this church in a way that gives other people the authority to function in their own locality, we will still have a lot for the bishop to do and that he may not be able to do in the period given him. So, that's just my take on everything, guys. And it's good to have me here again.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much important. What you just raised, Reverend Yapazu. And I remember back in on one of our programs, you mentioned that the Reverend Dr. Moses Swat Dennett also grew interest in that point. So we're gonna find a time wherein you at that time you're gonna be sitting on a different bench, you along with the Reverend Dr. Moses Swat Dennis, and maybe we can get another. I think Reverend Dr. Allison also grew interest in that point you made. So we will have to bring you all back, and have that conversation. But I just want to say something quickly on what Brother Jokai was saying. You know, there is a saying, it's a secular saying that um, put your, I mean, for the show, I would say put your hand where your money is, but it says put your mouth where your money is. Okay. Um, it's
Well, you already said it. You already said it. No disclaimer. You already said it.
Man, you bad. I wanted to jump over that real quick.
I hope I didn't make you forget your thought.
No. I want to say this. I say this to say that you see, most of our parishes, they are undertaking projects on their own, and I don't see our church like this, the central church, like taking the lead, okay, or having some kind of structure set in place that, okay, this, you are undertaking this project, we are working along with the project, but at the end of the day, even though you will manage the project, but the project belongs to the LCL. If that conversation, we really, first thing I think we really have to invite really the Holy Spirit. We have to invite the Trinity to really come in before that conversation can begin. I'm saying this just for example, the Luther FM at St. Peter's. If the LCL had full authority, but now we had a Luther FM on the LCL, on the St. Peter's compound. Like for example, in my Senate, the Delaware, Maryland Senate, there are some congregations, if they are not really doing well, they are not really doing well, by all means, and the Senate see it fit, the Senate can merge you with another congregation, and that building, that property can be auctioned out to, they have the protocol. But I'm just saying this to say that in order to get that into play, what I would recommend first is for our church to start, the central administration to start getting involved, set up the policy first, call the parishes, districts, sell the idea to them, then start to get involved in some of these projects that the congregations or the parishes are undertaking. Like St. Matthew now is doing her high school project. That's more than 100,000 US. Okay, start to get involved, be part of the fundraising process, be part of this, and start to work it along with St. Matthew as it goes up. Because when you get to that point, now you can say, okay, St. Matthew, this building is St. Matthew Lutheran High School, but it's under the Lutheran Church school system. If you don't have any stake in anything, you can already have a school system. Maybe you just have a curriculum for Lutheran congregations or Lutheran schools. So I mean,
But I
go
think
ahead.
Willie, Betty McCormick, I think that's the
Betty
name.
McCrandle. Yeah, Betty McCrandle.
McCrandle, okay. I believe she was the one who later on started this whole merging of the various schools into school system. And
Right.
she might have left a model that maybe we could revert to see what was in it and what needs to be improved, But I think Dr. Councillor Colley raised something serious about the title deed, because if the property, if the property is in the name of the parish,
it becomes
then
difficult.
it's something else. So all of these things should be able to come in the reform. Yeah,
Look, before I lost my thought on this, Jared and Woody, I want to speak back to Joe. There are a lot of things I envision most of the time, but sometimes when I'm all alone and driving, the way I think sometimes and realize that other people I will have some discussion, we will not be thinking that direction. Sometimes I'll be asking myself, I'm getting mad. I'm going back to Joe today. I watched the program today, and I'm speaking to Joe because the program is held in Joe's church repeatedly.
Put that information.
Yeah.
Put that information. Joe is officially a member of St. Matthew's, the warehouse parish.
Okay, Joe, but Joe used to be at St. Peter's as Secretary General for the parish council. So that's why I'm saying Joe's church. So Joe just transferred from there to St. Matthew.
Yeah. Whatever, Reverend.
Yeah, this is my take. This is my take. And I don't Lutherans all around the world tend to think somehow in different, and we need group of leaders that will shift the thinking of our church. St. Peter's will host, for example, now St. Peter's should be thinking about hosting a new bishop coronation for the next after 6 years. They should be working towards that. When we have these programs, you got 80% of the participants of the delegation outside, and you got only 25% seated within. What is St. Peter's doing as a parish with the financial capability they have to remodel their building to host those kind of events? Are we just going to keep the building the same old way every time we say when we have a 2,000 person in here, then we got to ask other people who are lay people to go outside and for all the? I don't think we should be doing that. We got to be working to meet up to current reality. And the reality is that the church, I don't know why people don't think the church is big. The church is big. We can't continue to run this church the way we ran it 20 years ago. We will continue to end up in error. We can't continue to run this church the way we ran it 30 years ago. St. Peter's as a congregation should start thinking about extension, should start thinking about expansion, and say if we will have to maintain our capacity, our function as a cathedral church. I mean, you get one man, bear me witness, you get one man who is a bishop, Nathaniel Zawi. See the church he built in Congo Town, RC Lawson. It's bigger, it has not yet finished, but it could be almost 2 times bigger than our cathedral. our cathedral can no more host, or those are direction we need to be thinking into. And say, look,
even as a winger dominion,
yes,
always extending.
Yes, you know, those are just simple things that look, my brothers and friends on this program.
Reverend, you touched a very good point. You struck a very good point. And let me just add that in one of my publications, Essential Elements for Liberia's Post-Conflict Recovery, I specifically highlighted the massacre in the Lutheran Church in 1990. And I indicated that, and it's a proposal, that entire vicinity has to be transformed into a national shrine, you know, not just a place of worship, but it just expand the edifice to accommodate more people, and also erect a symbol to reflect the massacre that occurred where hundreds of Liberians, you know, lost their lives. St. Peter's is not just an ordinary edifice in the country. St. Peter's is an institution that's supposed to be referenced nationally. It's supposed to be historically referenced. And I indicated that in my publication. I said that they should be able to transform that entire edifice into a national shrine. It's not just every time people go and stand on the eve of the massacre, the day the massacre occurred, to stand around the star where they put the star down and renew the star on the basketball court. It's even shameful that you have a basketball hoop right there above the star where the remains of the victims were buried. Then people go stand there. We stood there so many times, different years. We stood there, held hands and sang songs and moon and wept. And it's shameful. It has to be, there has to be a symbol that reflects the kind of massacre that occurred in the Lutheran Church. And the Lutheran Church has never referenced that in a serious way. So I hope the leadership can look at that. The new leadership can look at that. But St. Peter's needs to be expanded. And I agree with you that they have the resources. Look, in 2007, Reverend, I was the chair of the Golden Jubilee celebration. Pastor Pay, I always make reference to that. Pastor Pay appointed me, and it became a serious issue. Why you should have people like the late Paul Moluba in the church, you know, the Verdiers in the church, and other people to appoint somebody like me from way down there at the time. But Pastor Pay was not looking at my economic standing. He was looking at the knowledge that I had, you know, and the ability to be able to organize and mobilize resources. And I didn't fail the church because I put together a 23-page proposal, and we went step by step with 7 days celebration, and we were able to install a 15 kV a Perkins generator. We raised the money. We were able to install the 6 standing units in St. Peter's. That was one of my leadership as chair of the Golden Jubilee celebration. St. Peter's can generate any amount of money she wants to generate. If St. Peter's wants to expand that edifice, St. Peter's can expand that edifice. But what you need is not just the money. The money is useless without the leadership, without the wisdom, without the understanding to do it, without the discernment to do it. People are more obsessed in St. Peter's with exercising power. I can tell you that because I was once upon a time the administrator. You know, the secretary general is like the administrator working with the parish chair and the co-chair. You are like the administrator. I've served in that position, and I know St. Peter's can generate any amount of money she can generate. And if they decide to apportion it appropriately to benefit the church, they will do it. I stood in the church before. I said the multiple pipers, the motor pipers building in the background that was being erected. I said it was a white elephant. That began an issue. 14% left St. Peter's.
Okay, folks, Bishop is coming. You gotta be brief because a lot of people want his attention.
Absolutely.
I'll stole him away from the crowd so you can talk to him for 5 minutes, okay?
Yes.
5 minutes
we're
enough.
Settle down in the guest house and you can talk to him for 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
2 minutes enough, Reverend.
Exactly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you very well. Your hand is on the camera.
So you just hit it and remind him of the coming.
Okay, no, we good.
Man,
okay, Willie?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Greetings, Bishop Pablo.
Greetings, Bishop Pablo. Greetings.
Let me increase the volume.
Congratulations. Greetings and congratulations. Let's let the bishop settle. He's trying to settle the camera. Let's see.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Greetings, Bishop. Greetings, bishops. And
Joe.
Yes.
I'm the pastor here. Let me greet my bishop first before you greet.
Okay,
I don't
Reverend.
want to get in trouble.
How you doing? How you doing? It's okay.
Bishop
How are you all
Pato.
doing?
Yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
Thank you, Reverend Yakwazo. Bishop, congratulations. This is ecstatic, and we are all happy here celebrating the joy for the leadership transition in our church. This is historic. I think we've set an exemplary leadership transition example that the country is going to follow. Other denominations will follow. Peaceful, it was successful. What we want to say here, Bishop, you will be sitting with us next Sunday. I know that you confirmed that in one of your meetings so that we can have a very good conversation. Do we confirm that you will be sitting with us, Bishop?
Yeah.
Yes. I will try to let my man remind me, but I promise you that.
Yeah. Absolutely, Bishop. Thank you for the transition. Thus far, I think everybody is willing to work with you. You can see the turnout today for the consecration. And I think you see this as a challenge just to pick up. I'm not sure you're going to have a honeymoon, Bishop. What do you say to that?
There's no time for honeymoon. It's time for work. But I also want to say thank you to all of you and thank you to the members of the Lutheran Church, even our partners, for the participation in this occasion. Yes, you're right. It tells us that people are willing to work, and I can assure all of you people, I will give you my time to work with all of us so that this church can move on. We started a history, we must continue. Yeah. And I hope and pray that, like I was saying just a few minutes ago, I think we are united. Yeah. We don't need much of a big reconciliation program because people are wanting to follow us now, the steps we have made. Yeah. Let's hold on to that. And let our church be an example for our country. That tomorrow we can be part of the history that brought total peace and election in this country.
Bishop, this is really sweet. This is really good, Bishop. But let me just say here that you attempted 3 times, and the 4th time you won. That makes you different. It sets you apart a little bit from past candidates and those who have won. What do you think are some of the factors that are going to make you succeed?
To make what succeed?
To make you succeed, make your leadership succeed. What are just some factors? 1 or 2 factors?
Well, the first thing I think is that look, it was everyone in this Lutheran church that voted for me. That's what I believe. Yep. And therefore, everybody should be considered as such. I don't have any opponent. I don't have any, I don't know how you call it, opposition. I don't have any opposition. And if we start our church way from that level that we all are one and we all must move on, including everybody in what we're supposed to be doing, then I think we can move on. It will be sustained.
Bishop,
Joe, before we take leave of the bishop, everybody just got to say something. Reverend Yapazo greeted him. You asked 1 or 2 questions, so let him know that he's the Andrew man here too, Jerry. Bishop Padmo want to say, Bishop Padmo want to say, God bless you. Want to say congratulations. I can openly say that because I was Secretary General of the Parish Council at St. Andrews, and I know how we fought for this day. I can say that authoritatively. Yes. I know how we fought as St. Andrews for this day.
Yeah. And you see the way Jerry talking now? See the way Jerry talking here?
Yeah. Jerry. We know for the well with the zest that you have, the energy that you have, things going to change. And we are just hoping at all time to make sure that we come on board whenever, however you need us to be at your disposal and your service, sir.
I want to see you around, Jerry.
And I just want
I'm changing that around, Jerry. No, hold on. Let me say something to Jerry. Jerry, now whenever and however I need you, I want you to tell me what can you do, and I'll give you that time. So don't wait for me to call you. Tell me what you can do. Tell me what you're prepared and willing to do right now, so we can deploy that. I will call you when I need you, but also let me know what you think we should be doing to move on. Don't wait for me to call you first.
Okay.
So that speaks to somebody like me. The bishop has spoken to my heart that I can pick my phone and I can call you and say, "This is what I think we should be doing."
Anytime,
any day. Thank you, Bishop.
I would say this quickly because I know the bishop got to take leave of us. Bishop Patmore, I've met you like twice now, virtually, and at our second meeting, you know what I said, that from our interactions, I know that you as someone who is up to the task, someone who is speaking, working. What I mean by that is someone who is calling on everyone, like all hands on deck approach. That is what you are taking to the office. I'm not going to hold you too much with words. I want to say we are here to help our church in terms of working together, um, amplifying those concerns, those um, just those messages that our church want our people to hear. We're here to help, and in any way we can help. Okay. We know that you had a long day. We know that you're gonna be joining us
It's a long day. Y'all try to wrap it up.
yes. Yeah.
So,
So we know you're gonna
Willie,
be joining us on
Willie, the bishop
Sunday.
has to go. The
So
bishop has to
thank you
go.
very much, and we'll be seeing you on Sunday.
This is the
Okay.
last question for you, Bishop. This is the last question for you, Bishop. Before
Come on,
you go.
Joe Bob, Bishop, you gotta go.
Bishop, you are
Let him go ahead.
Yeah.
you are going to be charged with the responsibility of delivering consistent with our expectations. Communication has to be at the center of that success. How do you rate communication? You will sit with us. Just one word. How do you rate communication in your plan going forward?
Actually, when I spoke with few of our partners, I think communication should be number one. If people don't know what you're doing and don't understand what you're doing and not getting the information, they're not going to come to you.
They clap and they like that.
We need.
Thank you, Bishop.
In fact, it's good now for us that the Lutheran Church has a website. We just have to make sure that website become functional.
Work on our radio station.
And work right now. I'm working. I got people. I have not today. I'm thinking, but I already got people working. A committee working on establishing that program. You started the radio station. And the last thing I want to say to you, I will run away from you guys right now, is that in the educational sector, while we're working with ALLIA to make sure the university become a dream realized, already we started working on improving LTR.
Yes.
I want you, all of you sitting there hearing me. By the last weekend in July, this month, we are going to LTR, all the men and myself and those who are interested, to brush the forest from around LTR. Send me your contribution to feed the group there.
Thank you.
I want your contribution to feed that. So please, we're not wasting time. Like I said just now, it's time to work. It's not time.
With that
So
said,
you-
Bishop
we will
Padmo,
see you on Sunday.
thank you,
Bishop, we will
Bishop
see you on
Padmo. Thank
Sunday.
you so
thank
much.
you, Bishop. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bishop.
You will get our support. You will get our support. Thank you so much. My
Thank you,
my father
Dr.
graduated
Dennis.
from LTR. So because my father graduated from LTR, so I will send LTR support. I'll look for anyway.
And we will package it through ALLIA. So
Exactly.
we'll cover everything.
No, you see that Jerry boy laughing at them, Mr. President, because he said, "Oh, the money can't come from Freetown way to America." So why you laughing at them?
No, so you can send it directly. You can send it directly.
But Jerry, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Jerry, on a very serious
Yeah,
note,
go ahead.
there's something I learned just from the short conversation with Bishop Padmo. Anytime we have a time allotted to us like 5 minutes, we're not going to allow Willie to ask questions. Because Willie has Willie speak just a white man.
Yeah.
All that thing
Yeah.
taking time. We just
Taking time.
the ball taking all that. What time you finish with that?
But y'all will have the bishop on that next Sunday. Y'all will have it on that next Sunday.
We're gonna have him. We're gonna have him.
Let me just share this with you before I go. Being on the ground, I see the enthusiasm, I see the motivation, I see the commitment. I think the best we can do is to continue to support him and to encourage and to remind him, because sometimes leader, you got many voices speaking in your ears, but the good voices have to prevail. So thank you guys. We started
Before you leave, Remy Dennis. Before you leave, Remy Dennis.
Yes.
So we know that next the delegation in Liberia will be coming back very shortly. And okay, we know that in August ALLIA is going to be having her assembly.
Right.
What are the preparations and what are some of the messages you have for our diaspora Lutherans that are monitoring the program right now?
Thank you, Willie. And I really, really think that the diaspora, if we were important, we are more important to this administration than any previous administration. So I do think that we should put our best foot forward to stand with the church and to stand with this administration to do everything we want to do, because we believe that this administration is going to be very, very looking to us. In fact, in the program today, I have to push back. They wanted us to speak before the ELCA. That's how important they take us. I said, no, we are under the umbrella of the ELCA right now, so let's give them that respect. I'm saying this to say there is high expectation of us. So my hope is that we'll mobilize. Let us come together. Let us thank God for our new bishop, and let's put our hands together to see what we can do to stand strong. They say when Omar tell you, let eat a dog, do it before the baby distract the Omar. So in other words, this is our time. Bishop got us. Bishop is paying attention to us. Let's do everything we can do to let him know that we stand with him and we support the work he's called to do and to lead our church. So let's mobilize for Philadelphia, August 19th to the 21st.
Thank you, Dr. Dennis. I appreciate the fact that you managed to get the bishop here to this platform tonight.
That's how much he takes us important. I went literally and took him from everybody else and brought him to y'all.
Yeah, that's
and remember, I told you this platform has a bright future, and we're going to work with you guys to take it where it should be. This is our diaspora broadcasting system, and I think you can mentor the new radio station that the bishop wants to form. And I say that with all sincerity. I'm not joking, you guys. I mean this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr.
So thank you. I got to go.
Doc. Thank you.
Thank you for making it to Monrovia. I know it's a lot, but thank you. Thank you for making it there. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see you when you get back.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Well, Reverend, thank you for picking at me consistently. But I think outside of your arrangement, I was able to get all the information in 2 minutes from the bishop.
Exactly, but you see that I was just saying when you left
from the bishop.
2 minutes.
Three questions.
Where did you just there? Willie, look, you.
Willie, I'm sorry, but I took it from you and the bishop came.
I'm telling you, man. But you see, look, Joe, I think I will agree that on this show tonight, you and myself are the two best people. You see, we are the two best people. Even though I keep on this show very critical with you, but I think we are the two best people. You see your man, you see why I hired man Jerry Kimmy talking about
parish. You look at Jerry
forgot to know that I'm a former St. Andrew pastor, and you see Jerry Kimmy, he didn't recognize that.
Hello, folks. We have a caller on the line. We have a caller on the line. He's a regular contributor. Yeah. So
Jerry, let's take the call.
Yeah, let's take the call. Go ahead, Reverend Allison.
Oh, Reverend Allison.
Can you all hear me, my brothers?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, we are hearing you, Reverend.
Okay. Josiah, Jerry, Reverend Yakmazuo, and Willie. How are you all doing?
We're okay.
We are doing well, Reverend. We are hearing you, and we are very happy to have you on the phone, Reverend. Yes.
Yes, I was like, yes, I was like Spider this morning because I had to prepare to go and proxy for Reverend Dr. Dennis at his church, Faith Emmanuel, here in Pennsylvania, and then I wanted to be present on 14th Street by way of Facebook Live. So
that's amazing.
I had to fulfill one.
Yeah.
I had to leave the consecration and attend to the service at Faith Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Lesdan. So I couldn't let Dr. Dennis down. But I think though we have some glitches here and there, computer freezing due to poor network, but on the whole, from my impression, the consecration ceremony was very, very grand. It was grand. And I'm very happy that my wife Her better half was able to attend, and she even took photos with Bishop Padmo and sent a picture to me, and I showed me that she personally represented me at the consecration. So I said to her, I was there through you. But
Wonderful.
I'm very, very grateful. At least we have a new bishop now, and he's very open to us, especially those of us in the diaspora, pastors, lay leaders, technocrats. I think there's a lot in store right now. There's a big bright light at the end of the tunnel for the LCL. So we're ready to work with the new bishop. We wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend.
Reverend
Thank
Allison,
you very much,
so
Reverend Dr. Allison.
Thank you for the call. We really appreciate it. Adding your voice, to the celebration that is ongoing today means a lot for us here at my Lutheran Connections TV. It's always good to have you, Reverend. Thank you so much, for the beautiful comments.
Okay. He just went out.
We have some comments, Willie.
No,
we have some comments.
Yeah.
We have some comments
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, before you start recognizing our viewers and the comments and this thing, Reverend Yabazo, I'm very, very sorry. I was so excited. When I saw the bishop, and I wanted to have made him to understand that St. Andrews, I mean, where is it?
Because I called the current council chairperson to immediately delete Jared name on the list and say he as a transfer member to any parish he wants to go to.
Ambassador, we need to take note going forward. You see how Reverend attacked me today when he appeared on the show? Straight bullet. He started attacking.
And you see, I was supporting him. And I was supporting him. Now you're coming.
The man wanted to force me back to St. Peter's. He said, "No, you are there."
But Bijo, Reverend Yabazo is remotely, he's remotely operating St. Andrews. The fact that he can be across the Atlantic Ocean and giving instructions to delete someone who is just 1 hour drive from the.
I was going to transfer his membership immediately from St. Andrew to the preaching point in Congo Town. He was going to go to St. Andrew preaching point in Congo Town. And he arrived in Monrovia, no organ for him to play at St. Andrew. He can go to Congo Town and play there.
Reverend, that's the ambassador. Reverend, that's the ambassador.
And guess what? When the Reverend arrived in Liberia, he had a delegation, a high-powered delegation, if you all don't know, from St. Andrews.
No, it's not St. Andrew who picked me up. Nobody picked me up.
The Reverend, only St. Andrew. St. Andrew picks him up from the airport and took him back to RIA and make sure that he boarded his flight and left the country. It's only St. Andrews.
But Willie, I'm telling you, St. Andrew is a very beautiful and a traditional congregation. The Good Shepherd people give me the name, you see, Lila. After I work with them, they say we are satisfied. The St. Andrew people were the one who told me, among all pastors,
you are the head pastor in charge.
You can get pastor in charge, but you're not just one pastor in charge. You are the head leader in charge. Yeah. So when you see the HPRC to Bandi, you come to see Andrew.
HPRC.
So I attach them here so everybody can feel connected. I'm the HPRC. See, Andrew people know this one is just not pastor in charge. He's the head pastor in charge.
The head pastor in charge.
Control things around.
Josiah, before we recognize it, let me just say something. So I must say I got so astonished. I came from Freetown. Every time I go there, I will make sure that I don't sit in the back. I go to where I belong. I go behind the organ to go play. So I'm going out like Bossman big. So I go behind the organ to go play this thing. We finish playing everything. Reverend coming to preach now, and I just got shocked. I just saw Reverend say, "Where's 34? My size 32." I said, "Oh." Somebody said, "We're gonna trouble here." So I said, when we connected to everybody, yo, they all, everybody.
And I tell you, one day, one day I had to chant St. Andrew anniversary. So I had to chant the liturgy. And his father walked to me, Deacon Jerry Tabolo, Senior. He walked to me and said, Reverend, you can do the liturgy in song. And every time you be here, you do it one day. I said, hello, don't you know we keep it? I said, we keep it. When they kind of occasion, kind of put it also.
Saint Jerry is giving his little take on our Reverend, our only Reverend on set. I just thought on a sermon preached. It was a eulogy delivered by the Reverend Zester Yakwazo, and it was at the funeral service of one of our late brother. May his soul rest in peace. The brother Reverend Collie Gatte. The Reverend preached this sermon, and I know for all of the young people who are following Sis Silly and everyone, he preached and he said, "Live, but don't live in the bottle." He said, "Live, but don't live in the Henneken. Live, but don't live." That was a wonderful eulogy.
So that Reverend can get you struggle.
I'm telling you.
You go preach somebody. You go preach somebody.
Guys, this is
I think in other words, anyway, he's here, but he was saying.
I can't remember the theme of that sermon. The theme was live today.
Like live today, right? But don't live. Right.
Live today like tomorrow is not promising.
It's not promising.
Just saying, in order to live today, don't live in a Henneken battle.
That's
in order to live today, like tomorrow.
And he is specific about that. Well, yes. let's recognize our viewers and take our comment.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so quickly, I'll recognize our sister. Say somebody, our
and you people the number on the screen because some people asking for the number to call.
Okay, I will do that quickly. Okay, so hold on 1 second. Let me add the number on there and then do that quickly. So yeah. So I want to highlight somebody. She sent a comment. She was one of the very first person who commented, and it's very funny. She said, "Today the holiday for us in the LCL. We're not listening to you people. Yo, hello." So I'm like, okay, you're not listening to us, but thank God you're watching us. I found that to be funny. So our sister Cynthia is there in at Bannersville. Our brother
Zombie, Cynthia Zombie.
Yeah, Cynthia Zombie. Yeah, she's regular follower. Yeah. Our brother Newell Kennedy, our Reverend Willie Heenan. He's monitoring.
Noah, you can call if you have time. We can encourage Noah to call.
He called me earlier when we were having a conversation.
He wants to call too. Hope we can get a number to him to call.
When the bishop was on, he did. Yeah. So our brother Anthony Vampana have been helping us today, been getting in touch with Reverend those who wanted to get in touch with. Our sister Gertrude, our Mother Dede Howard, our sister Anita.
We can hear from you, folks. Well, you can encourage them to call if they have time.
Yeah, please call in. Send your congratulatory messages. And yeah, please call in. And our sister couple Silly, her birthday is coming up very shortly, and she says, a happy birthday to my month mate, the Reverend Yakwazo, and our sister Howard Moniba, and sis Howard made a comment when Reverend said, "I thought a white man," so she said that's beautiful. So I mean. So yes, please, folks, you can call in, make a comment, and send out, congratulatory messages to the bishop. If you want to send a thank you message to our Bishop Emeritus, I have to be very careful. I don't want to follow Joe to say outgoing or former. Bishop Emeritus, so I don't be charged by our Reverend. For me, I'm an acolyte. I always watch what I say. That's why I don't want the Reverend to hold me in charge. So yeah.
Georgia want to remind you that are semantics. Are you
trying to implicate me because former emeritus?
No. No, I'm just saying that I'm an acolyte. I'm an acolyte. So no, I'm just saying. I'm just saying I'm an acolyte. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Very,
good.
very, very willing, very willing. Hina, the numbers are there, and the WhatsApp
Right.
number you can, if you're in Liberia, you can try the WhatsApp number. It will ring.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I think Rabbi Hina wants to follow up on his comment that he wrote initially regarding the bishop visiting the different parishes.
Reverend Hina, Reverend Hina is here with us in Georgia. He's here with us in
Yeah,
Atlanta,
and
Georgia.
also to congratulate the bishop, Reverend Hina.
Yeah.
It will be a great opportunity for you to also
Yeah.
congratulate the bishop on the show.
Oh,
And then
he's asking for the number to
But
call.
Joe, I must say thank you for getting those first words out of the mouth of the bishop.
oh yeah,
And I'm glad that the bishop is seeing that this church, no matter where you are, we are one.
absolutely.
And he's hoping to not only wait for him to reach out to us, but we are also allowed to reach out to him.
Yeah.
To talk about things to move this church. And I think that's a great mood on his part. And I'm looking forward to him, doing a lot in the short time. And I know he can do it. I know he can do it, and I'm trusting God that he will do it. I'm trusting God that he will do it. He has greater responsibility, but not just about allowing his name to be written in history as one of the bishops of the LCL, but to do what he can do for the church, for that legacy to be left. And I'm sure he can do it. Our church needs a lot. Our church needs more to be done. And we just need the leaders who will understand that, look, it is possible. It's not impossible for this to work. It is possible. And I always say, all of our bishops who will come to power of that church, who will come to that authority, just need to sit and think. If a smaller church that is 7 days advantage can be here and be making these kind of airwaves, it's not impossible for us to do. If smaller ministries, even our partner, the Methodists, have jumped far ahead of us in certain things, if they can be making those moves, it's still not late. We can do it. It might just been over the time we have just had people who have saw everything so difficult to do and think that they must go to every meeting for everything. They must reach a consensus before they do everything, and we have just held ourselves in the back. But
Yeah.
I think we need a leader who will grab this church, put it to his shoulder or his head, and run with it. And when we see that kind of leader and what we are currently seeing in Bishop Padmo, he can be assured that all of us are willing to take it either by the
You got a
legs.
call?
We had the Reverend on the phone, Reverend Willie Hina.
Yeah,
oh, okay, great.
Go ahead, Reverend.
Yes, Willie, Jules, Reverend Yawazu, Jerry, let me say a very big thank you to you guys for having me invited on this show. And I want to quickly say just exactly what Brother Joe said. I've already congratulated Bishop Padmo, and let me say this on this public media of the LCL. Bishop Padmo is being highly congratulated. We actually appreciate his election. It was really fair and history making as well. I watched the program today. There is a difference when Bishop Jensen was inaugurated, and what I saw, I didn't really see at the time I was still in Liberia. Padmo consecration was very, very, historic. It has a lot of things that we didn't see, and I must really say thanks to all the guys who planned the program. Like I said in my comment, leadership is like when you are outside of leadership, you have a different picture of what you want to do.
Sure.
When you get in the seat of a leader, there is a different thing you will encounter, totally different from what you saw and you've been saying when you were not a leader.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing in my understanding that some leaders and leaders have to do is when you are outside of leadership and try to see some things that you want to do and some things that are not happening in the current leadership, is to take a pen, take a paper, and write down what are those things you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
write down the things that you are not saying happening with the current leadership. That blueprint will help you when you take on leadership. Because like I said, if you are outside the fence, you are totally a different person who wants to be a leader. Unlike when you are now taken onto the mantle as leader. Joe has said something that when you become a leader, there are so many voices. So Reverend Director Soa, he said when you become a leader, especially bishop, there are so many voices coming into your ear.
Yeah.
And if you are not too, systematic and focused, those voices will take you away from your initial plans. Bishop Pamo and us have moved from every region of our church in Liberia, every district, every parish. Pamo have visited those places. We have talked and talked and talked a lot of things. My prayer now is that Bishop Pamo needs to go back to the very parishes, preaching points, and congregations that we used to visit, listen to the voices of the people that we used to visit when we went to leadership. So that when he comes back to Monrovia, he will already have gotten a clear picture. You already have gotten a clear messages from the people that he has been called to lead. Just before I leave, we are being like swallowed. The secular politics has swallowed us in Liberia. Mm-hmm. What do I mean? Because Lutheran Church has a fraction of membership in Liberia, unlike the entire membership. Some of the things happening in the secular politics, they are things that are happening with the very members we have in our churches. So when you take over the mantle of leadership, you got to divide the difference between people who are members of the church, who are working in secular government, with the messages that they are coming up with to you as a bishop. Now, so Bishop Pamo being elected as bishop, again, like I said, he needs to take up on time, like maybe 1 or 2 months to cover the entire, LCL length in Liberia, stay with the people in the villages and towns, and make a difference. To be blunt with you guys, we have said, LCL need to be like the UMC. They got UMU operator here just from 2008, something about 98. And we've been around here for so many years, we haven't been able to do anything. That's going to be one challenge for Bishop Pamo. Here, estates. We are being around in Monserrado County, some part of maybe Bon or maybe Torota. We need to go beyond that. That's another task for Bishop Pamo. Those of us are right here in America, you can see the churches we have here, they are involved in so many investments. And like jokingly, we said when Jensen took over, we were saying, look, we've been eating one little plate, but today we have a very big, a pan that we're going to eat in. Have we materialized that big thing we talked about? We did not. Because LCL is running with just few institutions. How will we be able to compare ourselves with UMC, Episcopal, Baptist, and all the churches? We will not have focus in terms of what we intend to do. So for me, this is my first message. Bishop needs to go all around LCL churches, listen to the people, see what is on the ground with the people, discuss with them how can we move those small churches to where they want to go, how do they want to go, where they want to go, what do they have available with them on the local ground that can be, help for them to move on from where they are, so that all of the churches, in fact, like if you look at the potential parishes and those weak parishes, that's one example I'm trying to give here. You don't need to focus those churches that are below, like for example, like the D area, those like areas that are potential that are and rest of the part. But what about those who are, we categorize the list. How can we get them to be like the other guys, that we are now using? So Bishop, before I leave, Bishop needs to go all around, figure out, listen to the people, see what is on the ground, say with the people, and hear what actually they have been saying that need to be filled out. So again, let me congratulate Bishop Pamo and thank you guys. This is the place of our interaction, and I want to say to all of us that let us get some of the guys on the ground in Liberia, in the LCL administration now, the Secretary General, the GS, the treasurer and all those who are heading our, programs to come on the show so that we can share views and see how to go from here to where Bishop Johnson, Pablo has to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Heenan, and we'll look forward to talking to you very shortly. Thank you very much.
I think Ambassador wanted to just make a comment, after Reverend Heenan.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Ambassador. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So I just wanted to assure Reverend Heenan that his comments are very laudable. They are very, very insightful. And I'm very sure that Reverend Padmo is going to look at that. Like Josiah said, that probably he might do it through structures if he has the time to meet one of two of the parishes in the leeward part of the country. I'm sure he will be willing to go there. You heard him recently talking about getting all of the men and maybe the clergy to follow him to go on a farm to brunch. That is a good start. So that means he's believing in agriculture. And if we can start feeding ourselves and even feeding the nation, that's another transformation of the church. So I think that's something good that we can look forward to. So I want to assure you, Reverend Heenan, that will happen. Do we want to look at Reverend Moba Zeze? Pastor Moba F. Zeze?
Reverend Moba Zeze. Yeah, he's always following us, and he's sending out congratulatory messages, and also letting us know that how he appreciates our platform. But I just want to say something quickly that the outgoing bishop assistants, he made a comment today. He said when he went to Freetown, Sierra Leone, there's something the church in Sierra Leone is doing, self-sustainability project. They are using there's the quisa, the quisa that I just know. The fruit I'm talking about, right?
We know what you're talking about.
It's cashew nut, right? He said they are using it to produce oil. They are using it to produce wine, right? So, and he said that our Sierra Leonean partners, the congregation in Sierra Leone, they're telling us that if we want to do something like that, they can help us establish it. And I think self-sustainability is very key because we can't keep depending on partner for for everything. We have to do some things that will really keep us going. Like you mentioned one time, you said like some congregations are undertaking like rice seeding project. So those are things that the like our incoming our bishop in our new administration, they will have to look into putting some ideas together in how we can sustain our church locally. Yeah. And I want
to you said who was making that proposal?
The outgoing bishop assistant.
The outgoing bishop assistant?
No, former bishop assistant.
I know where Wendy coming from. Wendy, please don't go there. Please don't go there today.
No, not me. No, not where I'm coming from.
No, Joe. I know where Joe. No, I know. Sorry, I said I know where Joe coming from. Joe, please don't go there today. I know where he's coming from. That's the reason why he want to know. He want to be specific whether are the incoming or are the ongoing, because he wants. Why he wait until he ongoing?
I need to remind Joe. Joe, please read Cynthia Somebody message. She said
today the holiday
is
for
us in the LCL. So please slow the speed, Joe.
No, it is no speed. I just wanted to be specific. I like clarity. I don't like to mix up stuff. I just want to know the source of the proposal. Making proposal about sustainability is very important. We all stress that.
I want to ask Joe a question.
Wait, what do know what making the proposal?
Yeah.
I want to ask Joe a question.
The outgoing BA.
No, the former BA. You're not outgoing anymore.
The former BA. The former BA.
Yeah. Joe, what do you make of the combination of the current LCL office of the current BA, the Reverend Jala Louis Mackay, Jala Luigi Mackay, and the Secretary General of Victor Kido having a Mackay as a BA
and a Kido as a GS.
as Secretary General.
And before
What is-
Joe Kami, did
Reverend,
you
that's a
say
good
did you
question.
say Reverend did you say Reverend Jokai? Did you
No,
say
I
something?
said
Oh,
Joe.
okay.
I said Joe.
Yeah,
I want to hear
sometimes-
what is Joe comment? What Joe make of that combination?
Right. The first thing I would say to you, I don't know if Victor is going to be the Secretary General. That's the first thing I want to say. I know the selection committee nominated him. I don't know if that's what the bishop and the incoming leadership wants. It's
Joe,
tricky.
Joe, let me Joe, put on information quickly. Let me just interrupt. I beg you, please, just 1 second. The Victor has been installed. He was
he's
done,
installed.
He was
last week.
Because I saw a
Last
photo
week,
of
and he was
He was
presented
installed.
he was introduced. I don't know about installed, but I know
Yeah.
he was introduced in the the regular chapel services
in the
they have
chapel
in the
service.
morning.
Yeah,
He was introduced there as the incoming General
GS.
Secretary of the LCL, and I saw photos from that event.
Yeah,
But I saw.
Oh.
But I saw his brother today. Posting on Facebook, congratulating.
Yes.
Thomas Kidder congratulating his brother and saying that he was also inaugurated today along with the bishop. I don't know if that is how it works, but I saw that written today
I
on
saw
Facebook.
the post as well. I saw that post.
And when we were on this show, I watched the closing statements from the reception while we were on this show, and I saw him just speak before the benediction in the event. So technically, he's the Secretary General currently of the LCL.
Okay. So with that clarity, I can respond to your question. I know Reverend Mackey is progressive. I know that he's a progressive religious leader. Reverend Mackey, I know he feels the weight, the challenge to succeed. He feels it deeply. He sees it as a personal responsibility because this is something he looked forward to. A leadership transition that will be able to deliver, consistent with the expectations of Lutherans. So that's the first thing I would tell you, that he's not going to allow many missteps. I'm sure he's going to religiously guard the bishop in terms of the kinds of decisions, the kinds of conversations that will be held to be driven towards the direction of the expectation of Lutherans. So I have no doubt that he will certainly deliver. I don't know much about Brother Kedor, in terms of his role in leadership and institutions that he's worked for, his style. They all matter, the choices that people make in the different positions in which they serve. But as a Lutheran, and I'm very sure that he too is overwhelmed with the challenge to be able to succeed. So what we look forward to is complete teamwork, Reverend. We look forward to a teamwork in the bishop's office. If the bishop should succeed, it's going to be those people who will make him to succeed. The general secretary, the BA, they are like the fulcrum. They will have to keep the bishop focused on the important issues. They will have to make
Joe, I think we have a call.
Priority list. Oh, okay, we have a call. Okay, let's take the call.
Yeah, go ahead, brother, and state your name and make a comment.
Be acting like you don't know who's on the line.
We also have the you know what, my man, the Reverend Zeze is calling. Can we pick up the Reverend Zeze and we'll get back?
Yeah, let's pick up Reverend Zeze. Yeah, because we want to talk to Reverend too, and then we'll bring you on.
Reverend Zeze. Yeah, go ahead, Reverend. You are live.
How you put me alive? You even
Reverend Zeze, I saw you in a jubilant mood today. I have never seen you in that mood before.
You heard a question?
No, what is it?
Reverend, this is Joe. This is Josiah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Joe.
Big brother, I said I saw you in the mood, in a jubilant mood that I had never seen you in before.
what do you expect from them? We have a new bishop.
Great. Sounds good. And we
And
are
so
also
and so
here.
Reverend, we just want to gauge your opinion on firstly how you feel and what you think. If you're ranking the priority from 1 to 10, what you think should be the first priority of the new leadership, your colleague?
Well, I don't want to preempt his priorities. He should tell what the priority would be. I wouldn't want to be the one to propound on that. But I certainly believe, generally, that you have good plan for us and for our church. We do believe and we want to call all Lutherans that you guys are doing to support the good cause of our new Bishop Patmo.
And so Reverend, if Bishop Patmo were to ask you to give him a suggestion on what you think should be a priority, what will you say?
If he will request, what I will suggest that if he do request, I will suggest that we do an overall general evaluation or assessment to inform us as to where we are in our respective programmings of our church. Maybe you're the finance people, you talk about do an audit to know where we are. But even though we have an audit document, but just to do a general program review and assessment of where we are in our development draft that will inform policy processes that will move our church to another level. I believe that they all go left behind a strategic document that we need to review. So I think that would be your best place to start from.
Reverend, thank you. I think that's a very good point. The issue of looking back, because you cannot move ahead without, taking stock. It's good to take stock, and you are concerned about taking stock. That's a very good thing. And Reverend Padmo also indicated today during the ceremony that he's going to take up from where the bishop started.
Exactly.
Do you have, if there was one particular success of the former leadership, one success that you can point to, what would be that Bishop Padmo would take off from? One success that you can name as the success of the past leadership. Just one, not more than one. What will you point to?
I think, based on our previous discussion, our Bishop Padmo, even prior to becoming the bishop, we all talk about as a success that you has inherited that you want to continue with, would be in the era of moving the university, elevating it to an appreciable level. It's quote unquote one university, and the whole issue about our own communication media center, radio station, television, and stuff. These are things that we all talk about, even in our respective platform. We all talk about that. So I believe that would be one thing that you may want to elevate, because that was a success.
Yeah, the university. The university.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. A lot of work went into the university process, but I think a greater support came from diaspora Lutherans through the Association of Liberian Lutherans. I think they did extremely well. Supported.
You guys have been doing well. You guys are the brain.
Yeah.
So
But Reverend, otherwise it was a good mood today. Let's have Reverend Yakwazua maybe ask you one or two questions. Sorry that we took you by surprise, but it's
That's
always
all
good to be on your own show. This is your show.
Yeah, this is my show. That's why I said, all right.
Well, I like to begin. I like to begin with telling Reverend, it's a beautiful attire today. Yeah, I admire Tyre.
Come on, Dexter. Come on, Dexter.
Yeah, beautiful one. You know that my style. I like to see those kind of.
That's a normal business, my man.
Yeah, I know. But when I see one good one, I like to talk about it. And that was one good one that I saw today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So.
And you run away from me. You didn't leave my chocolate.
Now, plenty ran the pastor out of that place like that. I had to run because we're not going to get transportation to come back, so I had to run. Yeah. So
the main money was finished. The main money was finishing.
Yeah, I had to run. But Joe, Pastor Zeze or Reverend Zeze spoke about some key things. And I think I want the current leadership to take that into consideration. Because you see, sometimes when you come to that office and come with the mindset, for example, if you come to the LCL, let's assume that you look at the properties we got behind the LCL compound, and you assume that, well, all of these things will give me some money to run this church. And then you come there and somebody tells you, the first thing, you can't get any money from these things because we already pay all the money to the past administrations. You become frustrated.
Yeah.
So audit is a key issue. And I think, after all the hawking and doing everything, the audit is not intended to think that somebody took something. The audit is intended to put you to where the church is currently standing and say, well, this is where we are. Don't depend on this one. You don't have money in it until 2025. Don't depend on this other one. You don't have money there until 2026. The only places you got resources coming from will be from this one, and this one, SYZ. And you know, then when you make your strategic plans, you will know exactly where to start planning from. So I think an audit will be something good, will be a good footing that the church can begin with. Because, and I don't know if Reverend Zizou was part of that event, but I remember when Bishop Jensen took over, one of our gathering was in Phoebe. But Bishop Jensen could not even give full update on those properties behind the LCL compound, how much the LCL was getting from those properties at the time. Because when the transition took place, there were not audit done on those things to know when the people was going to start paying some money back to the LCL, how much those people paid to the LCL, nothing at the account. So it's good to know. I agree with him, and that's a beautiful suggestion. I hope the Bishop Patno administration will take that into consideration. So look, in our first 2 months, let's know what we have on hand to work with, and that will be good for them. Because if you come there, you can start early and tell your people, I know we came to this office, but this is how we came. We got there and we met this. This is where we're starting from. And it will be easier for people to tell their achievements. That's what I wanted to say.
And Reverend Zeze. And Reverend Zeze, before you leave, but just to join Reverend Yabazo to say, congratulations for that point. And I think it puts the bishop office in a better position in terms of statistics and being empirical. So the whole audit is not about wanting to hunt somebody, or a lot of people most of the time misconstrue the issue of audit to think that you want to catch thief. But no, it's to just give you scientific statistics on how you should proceed, where you are, where you're coming from, where you are, and where you intend to go. But then lastly, I would like to say, we had the former General Secretary. The GS told us clearly, that the church LCL is unable right now to stand on its own without external support. So that is a clear statement from a person who has spent more than 10 years in the service of the church, especially working in the highest office, telling us that the church financially cannot stand on its own, and we need external support to prop. But at least we want to know how much we have and what can we do to improve on it so that we can be able to be sustainable, because sustainability is very key. And I think that's a very good point. Thank you.
So Reverend Zeze, before you go, the last question is on your proposal for us to take stock. I do agree 100%, and I will repeat any of the points my colleagues made. But here is my question. We have to do this so that we are successful, to get the numbers, to get stats, to know where we can take off from, what is required. So, Rabbi says, what will you propose? You need an internal professionals, you need a set of internal professionals to do the stock taking, or you need an external set of professionals to do the stock taking, an independent team to do the stock taking. What do you need?
You know, Joe, we got all the professionals in the church. We got all the professionals in the church. It's a matter of sourcing the right professional within. We got the professionals. We got some of our church folk who are running our other firms. Some of them running different programs. Since we don't have the money, that is where it become expedient to tap on those different resources, professional investment resources we have in our church. Put them together, a committee, people willing to work. People are willing to work. People are ready to sacrifice their time and resources for our church. Put them together, and they will do all the different things that will help you to have an empirical data that will inform you to make the right decision as to where you want to go. So you can't be too over ambitious that this is what you want to do, and by the time you hit it, you try to go, you get stuck. You know, so you need to find within. For me, it will be of a great help, because external is going to cost you a lot of resources. We're talking about limited resources that we have. Right.
Yeah, it will cost you a lot of resources, Reverend, but it will also provide a kind of credible report. I am not in any way adopting the ability, the professionalism of the internal resources that we have, but I am also looking at connections, links, and how other factors may influence the process. So if you put the money one time and get an independent, an outside set of professionals to do it,
which would be good. That would be the best one. The external would be the best one.
Would be, in my opinion, very empirical. That would be very empirical, and that would be helpful to start a realistic business, to give a foundation, a credible foundation to start the process to take off from. That
would be the preferred one.
Yeah,
that would be the preferred one.
All right, so thank you.
Yeah, it was really good having you, Reverend. You know, we are sorry again we took you by surprise, but anytime, please expect our.
No, it's fine, man. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I took the one. I mean, we're the one doing that.
Okay, Reverend, enjoy your evening. Enjoy your evening, Reverend.
The Reverend is watching. Let's put him in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you have another call?
And then thank you. Say hi to our mother, the Reverend mother. Say hi to her for us.
Sure.
Okay, all right. Appreciate you so much, Reverend.
Do we have a call?
Yeah. We had a call that came in, but I will just make follow up real quick.
I heard you calling him Elazina.
Yeah. He called. You say what I heard? He called him Elazina.
Yeah, Elazina.
I said Brother Zina. No, it was Brother Zina.
Maybe Yakwas start reading into that, please.
I thought the man called the man Elazina. So I said,
he reached that level.
That's okay.
Even though his father, I'm blessed that his father baptized me.
Hey, I thought that from now on you were speaking Elazina.
No, he's not Elazina. Go ahead, Brother Zina. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I want to say good afternoon to all of you out there in your respective locations and kind of coordinating this conversation this afternoon.
Zina, you are welcome. Zina, you are welcome. But let me just let you know that Reverend had already started questioning the title that Willie gave you, Elder Zina. He said, "What is it for you, Elder Zina?"
No, I reject that title. To the fullest, I reject that title. I'm not accepting the title right now as it is.
I hope Reverend Yakwa's presence on this platform is a blessing. I hope it's a blessing.
Yeah,
Go ahead, go ahead, Regina.
this is a good thing that we can all gather at this time to talk about happiness around our church and look at some of the good things that are happening and kind of offer some recommendations that can move our church forward. Looking at the current leadership, as you guys has been discussing in the studio there, it's so much important. And as you guys were discussing, I kind of took cue out of some of the things that you guys are talking about, and I kind of put down some things that I think, if the current bishop drives his attention in the direction, we can move the LCL forward. In that regard. And one of the things that I took came to is the issue of reconciliation. We are all watching a very colorful program happening today, and everybody laughing and everybody singing and dancing and eating. But there are a lot of people in that room that I heard. There are a lot of indifferences. There are people there with grudges in the heart for other people. The past leadership, people said things about them. Like you saw an emotional moment that happened when Bishop Jesse called the outgoing leadership, put the gun on all of them, and then the hug. There was a moment of sharing tears and stuff. That there are a lot of things that were going on, not just because they're leaving for office, but there are a lot of things that people have endured. So this leadership, the Bishop Patmore leadership, we have to visit what some reconciliation processes to kind of try to heal the church while he's trying to develop it. My next point would be the issue of sustainability. And sustainability, I've seen him, Bishop Patmore, kind of like mentioning that in all of his statements that he made during the whole ceremony and since he been elected. And I think that's a good move, because if the church in Liberia can focus on the natural resources and the properties that the LCL owns right now, and just try to utilize those properties, I think LCL is able to make herself self-sustainable and kind of lay out plans to be able to pay the rural pastor to some substantial amount that can enable these pastors and evangelists and deacons to be at least sustainable where they are. But in the absence of sustainability and just allowing people to keep struggling and struggling while they preach the gospel, this does not attract young people to the ministry. That's the reason why a lot of young people are running away from becoming pastor in Africa, because it is so much sacrificial. If you want to become a pastor in Africa, it means that you're just going to sacrifice everything and live your life for God and depend on God to carry you through. And I know the good old book said the prophet shall live by the word. So you can be preaching the gospel and then you be hungry. You will get corrupt. And that's the reason why you find pastors and other people in the LCL not supporting the central office, because they are trying to sustain themselves to where they are assigned. So sustainability, in his statement, I think that's something he should really push and make sure that he's able to implement that to get successful. Another thing I want to put out there is the virtual president of our church. The LCL got a lot of programs going, a lot of things they are doing back there that they are all in the background and people don't see them. The virtual president of the LCL is very necessary. So I would recommend that this bishop take into consideration the media present, be it Facebook, web, or whatever means they can use, whatever digital means they can use to just continue to make the works of the LCL visible. You'll be able to attract other partners to the kind of things that the LCL doing back home. To help the reconstruction of our country. And when I mention of reconstruction, I also want to talk about reconstruction, because the LCL, all of you are aware that we got lots of property, a lot of properties around the country. And this bishop have started one of the good things. And I saw it and I said, yeah, this is a good start with the renovation of LTI. If the LCL goes back to renovate all of our properties, reconstruct them, and start utilizing those properties, real estate got a lot of money. People can rent those facilities. People can come and stay in those facilities. Phoebe, Corin Hospital, all the places. If you renovate those places and make it to, not to more standard, but make it comfortable, that is habitable by people, you have a lot of people being attracted to our institutions and be able to help us generate some resources to support the idea of sustainability. And also, lastly, to just say something before I leave the line. Another thing our church needs to do in order to minimize corruption into our system is to introduce some digital coordination in our system. Invite system or hire or rent or pay for systems that will help you coordinate your work. Take for the instance, I'm writing the outgoing general secretary of the LCL, but you're still using her personal emails. So the people are working for the church, but they're using the individual emails accounts. You cannot track activities or coordinate activities within an institution when individuals working within the system are using their personal email addresses to run the business of the church. And that's how corruption and things go bad before you realize it. So an institution like the LCL, we should have a generic LCL email address system. Now you got Outlook. Outlook is so easy to use. You buy it, you install it in your system, and everybody can coordinate. Like that, you have a central monitoring system on who gets what and what comes to what, and how you run your business. But with the current system, without a generic system that you can monitor, it'll be hard to do away with corruption. And I heard a Bishop Padman talking about serving with integrity. But if you want people to serve with integrity, you have to put up some anti-corruption step system that will guide them to know that there's a system. If you went wrong into that system, we all are working in this system. If somebody is putting something bad in it, we're able to track it and bring that person to book. So I just wanted to point out some of those things, and I showed Brian Partner going to do his best to lead this church that is so much hurting. Some people are happy, some are broken, and some are dead. But I know with the help of God and with the mindset, we all can work together to make the LCL what it ought to be. Thank you for having me. I'll take questions if I have one.
Thank you very much, Brother Zena. We actually ran out of time. What we're gonna do is we're gonna find a time where we're gonna invite you on the show, and
Yes.
we're gonna have a good time with you. We know you reached out to us before, so we're gonna invite you. We're gonna find a time in the month or either July or August.
We'll have him sit with us.
Yeah, have to sit with us, Brother Zena.
Okay.
You came up with a lot of great ideas, but yeah.
And let me just speak to one of them. He doesn't have to be on. I'm sure he's following the program.
Yeah, he's following the program. Yeah.
One of them, and that will make me to hit a talking point that I'm sure my colleagues will be interested in. And that aspect has to do with taking stock. I am not carried away by this taking stock stuff because of the importance that you guys raised, Reverend Yapazwa and Ambassador. You guys really, struck the real issue why there's a need for us to take stock to establish a basis of, administering the affairs of the church. I think that's the best way to go. But here's the thing. A classic example, and Ambassador, you and Willis sat with the then General Secretary, the former General Secretary last week. I was not opportune to sit with you guys. But I don't know what you say about this issue. The then administration displaced the bishop of the LCL because there was an official home of the bishop of the LCL. They displaced the bishop by erecting a multipurpose, transforming the bishop's official residence into a multipurpose building. So, for example, you need to take stock. You need to know, since the transformation was done, how much did they raise and what did those resources go to? Because that was intended to help mobilize resources for the church. We all understand that the church is no longer the mission church. It's now the national church. And that, according to the then leadership, that was a major source of mobilizing resources. And now we can just lose everything. We lose the home of the bishop, and we don't realize anything from losing the home of the bishop. And I don't even know where Reverend Padmo is going. That is another topic.
I was about to give you that breaking news.
I don't know where Reverend Padmo is going. However, that is a good example of why there's a need to take stock, because I think so many things of that nature happen. So what really happened to resources that were generated from the use of the multipurpose building for the period? You know, I think it's quite important, Ambassador. Reverend, I don't know, but I think you guys struck a very good point. There's a need to take stock. We need money.
No.
We don't have money. We are on our own, self-supported. This is no longer a mission-supported church. And that was one of the main things. You displaced the bishop of the Lutheran Church. And that is still a crucial issue. I remember one time I raised an issue and so many people picked at me for it when I said that, and I'm sorry, I will repeat it. I said that Lutherans, for the most part, are just passive. And I said that, you know, they don't talk about issues when it is time to talk about them. I said the bishop was still bishop. It was time for people to talk about the bishop residence and have it concluded before a new leadership is instituted. Nobody was interested. Here we are now. We have a new bishop. We displaced the bishop. What happened to the resources that were collected? The only thing that can give us a credible information on whatever happened to that project and the resources generated is an independent audit. Independent, not internal auditors.
Not internal audit, independent audit.
Outside auditors, an independent audit. And that should happen to all the properties of the church, all resource mobilization, resource generation, institution, and infrastructure in the church. That should happen.
Where do you want to give you one or two information relative to the bishop's resident? I think the GS was able to. The GS was able to give some positive responses on that.
Wonderful.
No, go ahead, Brother Jerry.
Go ahead. Okay, yeah. So the first thing that was a very key question, and it was popping up from even the viewers, and she told us she made us to understand that the transitional team was aware of all of this information. And number one, there is a new resident that is on 11th Street, I think. And there was another one, but it took Reverend Padmo, Bishop Padmo, to both of them. And I think the one on the compound or something like that. But the 11th Street was what Bishop Padmo got very interested in. And he said that he would like to move into the 11th Street property. And so she said that the tenant have been informed and to vacate the premises, and so that the bishop can move in. And I think the transitional team went there, they saw it, and they made some upgrading on the property so that Bishop Padmo can move.
Jerry,
I just quoted what she's saying, Larry.
Jerry, let's have a different conversation, because it's when you say that on this platform,
it doesn't add up.
Besides it adding up, it's degrading.
No, it was Jerry. No, in all fairness to our ambassador is quoting.
I agree.
The former GS.
I understand the ambassador in totality. I understand where the ambassador comes from, and because he said from the very beginning that I am just re-echoing what was said. Yeah, these are not my own words, but I'm just saying for the sake of our audience, and even those who did not listen to the program that day, I didn't listen. I follow on 1-2 step, then I left. Normally, when I'm not on, I run there and just hit a couple of likes, and love, and then I leave. So I was not able to follow that portion of it. But if you know, I imagine when I'm watching.
Reverend Yakwazo, you can continue, but Willie, don't forget to highlight Sonny George. Sonny George, he has a comment, and maybe if he's available, he can call in, because today you have the opportunity to congratulate the bishop. Sorry, Yakwazo, you can go ahead.
Sonny George is no, go ahead, Reverend Yakwazo.
Joe, we're talking about the bishop, man. The bishop of the LCL, a church that is almost equivalent to the age of Liberia.
Liberia,
Yeah,
1860.
you're talking about the LCL, man. And you say we're going to ask the tenants in there to move. Hey, like you're talking about, you know, man, I don't want to imagine that in my head. I just don't want to think it up, man.
But I will just sum it up. I will just
this thing. I still can't wrap my head around this thing.
No, Joe, I will just sum it up. I will just sum it up to say that she informed that she will be prepared for a series. And the meeting with us, the previous Sunday was a beginning of the series, and we can plan with her in this July. And she'll be waiting to come back to take on a lot of questions, because a lot of issues came up that she didn't even respond to some. Wade, myself, and Abel. And about the programs, about other issues, about sustainability. All of these issues came up, and she attempted to answer most of them, but not all. And she said that there are many, and we can organize and let her come back, on a series. So I think it's good that we can plan. We bring her back. I think she'll be available. She said she's waiting to come now, so that we can discuss these things in depth.
I think to address this issue, we should get the bishop's commitment on the need to conduct an audit from the very start. I think we need to get a bishop commitment on that when he appears on the show, because this is crucial. The bishop cannot run into the same thing that the Sianglo leadership ran into, because they took over. No stock was taken. They just continue. So nobody knows what they inherited, and nobody knows what they are leaving behind.
Yeah.
There is no yardstick to measure the differences in terms of what they inherited and what they left behind. So to deal with that issue, especially now, there are so many critical issues that are left unanswered, unaddressed. The bishop should see this as a golden opportunity to get started with an audit. This is not about going at anybody, but this is about setting the stage for us to sustain ourselves. As an institution, we don't have any major source of support. The missionaries are out. They will only collaborate when it comes to supporting your initiative, maybe to appear and participate in events.
Yeah, Brother George is calling.
Oh, we have a caller.
Okay. Go ahead, Senior Brother George.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you guys doing?
Hey, big brother. We can only hear from him once in a while.
Yeah, sometimes we have to let you people do the work, and then
he can follow through a lot, so I appreciate him for that.
Before you go ahead to say anything you want to say, your congratulatory message, let me get a commitment from you. Are you ready to sit with us anytime soon?
I've committed myself to that process. Anytime you call me, I will be available.
Good. Okay.
Well, first, I want to tell the Right Reverend Bishop G. Victor Padmo, thank you and congratulations for his preferment. I even wrote something like an open letter to him. I will be posting it on Facebook just so that people can know my viewpoint about his elections and those challenges he's going to face in the future. You know, when Pastor Siangolo took over, that was a very, 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 very important role in the church. That was the very first time that somebody from the States who had lived his life in America for 25 years went back home to take over a national responsibility. The church that Bishop Siangolo took over was not a church he left in Liberia 25 years ago. When we try to target people, they tell us they thought that we were status quo.
Yeah.
So some of those things that really supposed to have taken front page in his administration, we never saw anything like that. When he came out and put his 100 days deliverables, as a programmer, I critique.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, okay, good.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Reconciliation was never a part of it. My tip was that he would have taken stock of all the programs and projects that the Lutheran Church had.
Absolutely.
At that time. For example, we have this whole roofing project
Yeah.
The Lutheran Church had a roofing machine.
Roofing company, yeah.
Exactly. The Lutheran Church had this program of the mover that used to fix the quote-unquote false legs and false hands.
Wow.
The Lutheran Church had a timber company that Reconstruction One, the guy from Denmark at that time, was running. What had happened to all those machines that we had in Bapolu?
And we also had a floor tile company, the
Exactly.
cement in the concrete in the yard.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had that.
So when I started proposing those, the first person that came out to criticize was Daniel Kope. He said, "Your father-in-law was bishop, you never criticize him." I'm like, you can't even say that. Because those that were part of the Lutheran Church, especially the youth department, knew the responsibility I took over with, my role I played with Bishop Harris in the 10th Yekeba Convention. That was the time the National Youth broke down completely. Thomas Jala was there. At that time, there was the time they enforced the whole 30 years clause. That once you are 30 years, you can never become a youth again.
The Reverend Victor Padmon Bishop was also at that convention.
Exactly. So he has taken over the church at a very crucial point. Our national politics is rotten and spoiled. The church is following in the same direction, but very slowly.
Yes.
How does he see himself fit in this kind of midway, in this kind of nexus, to strengthen the church in a way that will lead the states, so that the church becomes the example that the state will follow, instead of the other way around? So his bishopric right now is at a very strong crossroad that he really have to pray. When I wrote on Pastor Sandro Nassari, how you call this guy from Germany? Davis.
Sakuya Davis.
Yes. I told you congratulations. But the church has become radical. The young people are thinking very in the advance of everything. How do you take all these bundles of differences? How do you take into consideration the reality of our country and lead the church in a way that you will serve the country in a way that reconciliation will be seen as one of the very serious role, not only for the church, but also for the country? If you're out of the country, that's the time you know that Nigeria is facing serious problems. And like I said, I will post that open letter to Bishop Backman for him to see and read what I'm really talking about. But gentlemen, thank you guys a lot. You guys are really doing very excellent job. I've been worried on how you will control your contents in a way that it will not inflame more conflict in the church. But discussion, always discussing the issues and the root causes of these things, one day, even if people don't agree to it in the very beginning, in the end, people will agree to it, like how Pastor how Pastor Zinape alluded that there are issues that they needed to take seriously into consideration. So thank you. Those are just what I brought out. The church got problems, they also got responsibilities. So how do we handle them and move forward? Everybody might not be satisfied. At least when 90% of the church members are satisfied, it means that the pastor is doing well.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. And anytime you call me, I will be ready to sit on your platform.
Willie, I have one question for the senior brother.
Go ahead.
And the question is this: you've elaborated very well. I mean, it couldn't have been better. And you have mentioned certain things, Brother Josh, that I had no idea about those projects. Willie, on a serious note, I had no idea that we have projects like that running.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So here's my question. Do you support an audit as a first step to take stock and have a record of where we are and how far we are supposed to go?
Desire. No leadership will come to play and then downplay taking stock. You need to know where you are. Where did you begin from? What was happening before you got to where you are? If you do not do stuff, how do you know the properties of the church? How do you know the responsibilities of how the previous regime ran the programs and projects? what are those things that they had? How did they use it? So taking stock is very, very much important. If you don't take stock, you will never know where you are. You will be in the darkness. You will just start from where you are and go ahead. And then you'll be having so much bad luck that
do you support internal? Do you support internal? Do you support it being done by internal experts, internal professionals, volunteers, or you prefer an independent approach? Yes, it will be costly, but at least we can get to a large extent accurate results, credible results.
Thank you. You know the church we are experts, so maybe we can do it jointly. We can appoint a national committee to do it, but then we can ask the ELCA to send 1, 2, 3 persons just to serve as observer to go to bring credibility to that national team that will be doing it. And we don't want the process to say, oh, the bishop appointed it, and then he puts all his people there, and just one, or the executive committee appointed the national committee, and they appointed some of the people there. So sometimes it's good that we have the national process, but they have our friends, our mission partners that will support the process by maybe succumbing 1, 2, 3 persons that just to serve as observer to it. Make sure that the process, the procedure, and the result will be qualified and accepted by the Biblical Lutheran Church in Liberia. Yes, I do accept it, but there should be an external factor that will help to make it well for us.
Yeah, so a mixed process would be better. I agree. Yeah, especially involving the ELCA. Yeah, it still remains within the realm of the church. Yeah, which is good. Yeah. So thank you so much for those insights. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Guys, we gotta go.
Yeah. Look, so you see, the LCL problem will never finish. We'll always come here and talk some. So I agree with you guys. We gotta go. And I've always said, time without number. There are good things we will keep talking about. This church needs all of us. You just saw, just by getting Big Brother George on the show, a couple of the other eye opener that came out. Yeah. And I tell you, for real, we are at a place where we need to take all suggestions on deck and be able to run with them. I go to places. I run like 2 smaller churches every Sunday. They are about 47 minutes away from one another. And I go to those churches. I don't find offering basket sitting there. They got an offering plate in the back for who wants to give, whether you want to give or not. It's in the back there. But it doesn't stop me from getting what is being set aside by the Senate, what is structured by the Senate to say this. Every pastor who appeared to you for an hour must get this amount.
Yeah.
And you must pay the mileage. It doesn't change in any way. That is set up. So whether you go to the interior, the only thing that is going to change is the cost for your mileage, because you might be driving longer, and the man who's in the city could be driving a shorter distance. What do I mean? We listened to our brother Zina on this show, and when he closed up his statement, he mentioned issue about ruler pastor. You know, some of us, I had the opportunity. I was one pastor who got ordained April 26th of 2012. And I was the only one returning to Monrovia among my colleagues. I was ordained with 4 other colleagues. One passed now, the late Nathaniel Gabo. And out of the 5, I was the only person returning to Monrovia. But I still share a lot of empathy with my friends who were in. The closest guy to me were in Hendy, and the rest of the other folks were somewhere way there in Lofa. I've always said, you know, every time I even told folks, and this will be a new conversation, but I just wanted to hit it as I conclude. When Elijah spoke about issue about sustainability for ruler pastor, I said some of those things to Paul. I said, look, even if we put those guys in a circle, I was one person who always thought that it was not lit for the LCL to get what we call a central salary system. And I was saying, for example, even if we just run it per district, now we got 9 districts. If we just run those central salary system per district and say, look, all Morea district pastor will make the same money.
all Bond District pastors make the same money. We're going to say to parishes like St. Peter's, if you get $300 to pay your pastor, we got one general account that we will open up that everybody will deposit the fundings into, and we would then pay all the pastor. Maybe we say $200 credit. Because if you look at the LCL pension scheme, and I wish that Reverend Zeze was still listening to us because he served the pension before. The rate at which the LCL runs our pension is at the rate of $200. But mind you, they send you to those parishes that can't even pay you $100. But the scale for which they calculate your pension, the lowest is $200. What are we doing to make sure parishes can even pay up to that money? It's not. We got pastors in those places that are struggling, that are going through tough time.
Absolutely.
But we need to do a lot. This church needs to do a lot. System-wise, we need to put, the systems could be there, but we're not working them. If they are not there, then we need to put them into place. And the Bishop Padmore regime will do a lot, like you have said, Jared, like Joe have said, like Woody have said, and what Reverend Zeze said. If they start up with the issue of audit, it puts them to where? Because I'm telling you, between all of you on this program, Bishop Siankolo struggled with that in understanding where he took the church from. Because there were meetings. I remember in one meeting, Pastor Young told him, if you can tell us how much we get from those properties in the back of the LCL compound, we are not going to sit there and listen to you to make any proposal to us for anything. But then the discussion of leasing the current compound were on the floor. The woman told him, first they tell us how much we make from the building that we get behind it. And the bishop was struggling to find out. The woman said, okay, say you even know what we're getting from the building. We're not going to tell you, we're not going to give you any authorization. Because we got to, the woman parable was, we got to start up on the old mat before we get to the new mat. And I tell you today, if the current administration also doesn't do that, even to get to their partners, because every time they get to their partners will raise those discussion with them. Where are you currently? What are you bringing to the table? He said, well, we don't even know where we are. Your partners will laugh at you. And I think the LCL needs to go and find a house for our bishop to stay. We don't want him sleeping in his car, or we don't want him sleeping in his office, and we don't want him looking for a place to sleep. And they should not tell us they're trying to move the tenant out of the place.
That is appalling.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, this has been a very good journey today. Our viewers, the comments have been overwhelming. The congratulatory messages are so impressive. The jokes on the show, I mean, everything has just been so smooth and so amazing. It has been good for me. I just feel like we should be here for the rest of the time, but other responsibilities, compare us, to shut down the show and go. But
Joe, you can't keep Willie here for the next 10 minutes. No, Willie's a baby father, right? And I want to bring 1 or 2.
Notwithstanding, I agree. Notwithstanding, we got a big one coming up, and if not, it's the biggest thus far. The bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, the Right Reverend Victor Padmore, is going to be sitting with us on the show here next Sunday. I know Willie is all set. Willie is going to get a banner up, the flyer up as of tonight. And we are going to follow up, make sure it's effectively distributed. We'll do some publicity around that. But the fact that the bishop is going to sit with us, I have no doubt that everyone is going to tune in. People are going to follow. It's going to be about the church. Liberians across the world back home will definitely tune in. And let me just say, it's just good sitting with these illustrious guys. I mean, Reverend Yakwazo just spice up the conversation, the ambassador, with the different approaches and innovation. Willie has been just outstanding with the technology and, bringing in our viewers, recognition and everything. This is absolutely good. Abel is still here in the U.S. I'm wondering if the part of the U.S. he lives in has electricity problem. Maybe the electricity issue follow him from Liberia, maybe all the way to the U.S.
Listen. You just said Abel. And I have a surprise for you.
What is that?
Go ahead.
I'm a wonderful guy. You see, I just called Abel Nime. Abel is on the phone.
I was like, who is calling me?
Abel, I just track you, man. Is the electricity the LDC issue following you from Liberia to the US or what? Or is the network issue?
Oh no, Jonathan, I'm very transit. I just arrived at my cousin's place here in York, and let's say my uncle's place. So sorry that I missed the show, but I'm listening to what is currently being discussed. I mean, the issue of electricity and water in Liberia is a hell. I mean, people talk about us having electricity. We don't have it. We don't have it. I left Liberia almost 3 weeks ago, and a guy called me that since I left, our office had not had electricity, and this is how it looks everywhere. I mean, just so crazy.
Yeah, but we consecrated a bishop today. Abel, it was a great celebration. We have celebrated on the show today. We miss you a lot. You miss the fun. You miss all of the inside share, the messages, the callers. I mean, everything has just been overwhelming.
I know, Joe. I was trying to follow the show at some point, let's say from Liberia. I saw all of the pictures and some of the video that were being posted. I noticed that it was a very elaborate program, And sorry that I missed all of this, but I will follow all of the recording and see what have been discussed.
Thank you so much, brother.
Okay, guys, that's it from my end. That's it from my end. It's up to you, Reverend, Willie, and Jerry.
So before I slip up quickly, let me say happy birthday to all of those born in July. I see my sister Couple City has been here, and I want to say happy birthday in advance to Couple and myself. My birthday is not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, and beautiful people born in July, great people in July, and I appreciate all of you born in July in this Lutheran Church. Thank you.
I just want to take this time to say thank to everybody, especially our bishop, our Lord Bishop, for just giving us a teaser today. And I know for the way that next Sunday going to be a great one. So really, like Joe said, we'll anticipate you putting up the flyers even beginning today or maybe early tomorrow, so that you can start going. I will share all around. People know. But I want to also recognize Mother Love Nanu Tabla and Manja
Kole. I knew you would say
Manja Kole,
I want to say welcome, but you came at the concluding stage, and I want to say this is where we discuss all things Lutheran, and this is where we also secure the facts, beyond emotions. Thank you so much.
All right.
And I just want to join brother Jerry to
But Joe, on a serious note, next show will come here. You and myself got to bring our glasses because you see Jerry get one on a face, Joe get one on a face. Oh, I see that. No, I'm the only person don't have my own yet today. No problem.
But quickly, I just want to say to all of our viewers, thank you very much for following us. We do really appreciate you. All of those who contributed. Just everyone. We cannot mention names right now, but just everyone. And a big congratulations to our Lord Bishop, and the fact that the bishop can recognize us by coming on the Lutheran platform. His first interview ever as a bishop. I think this coming Sunday, we think that today ceremony was historic, but I think this is it's going to be very historic, appearing on my Lutheran Connections on Friday. And also before I close, I just want to recognize my younger brother, Emmanuel Cowboy. His birthday was on the 2nd, and our dad, his birthday is coming up on July 24th. I want to recognize that as well. And also our brothers and our church members, family there in Lusaka, Zambia, our brother Ungulobi. I want to recognize our brother Ungulobi.
We got a new follower today from Belazi. That's the Central America.
Yes, that's our brother Zizi Raba. Zizi Raba is on vacation. he traveled from Texas to Blaze to Belize, yeah, in Central America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, great,
yeah,
great.
yeah.
We just like to recognize you,
We
Zizi.
just want to recognize you, brother.
Feel
Citizen.
free
Yeah,
to
yeah,
chip in anytime you are available.
yes, yes. Um, we got to go, but it's a whole lot of things to unpack, especially from the LCL issue. Revin said that it is, what's the word he used? He said it was appalling, but I think that's loss of income to the church. That the church has, properties, and now the bishop had to reside in one because the bishop resident is no more. And how much income do we generate from the current structure that we are using? Today they had a program in that did the LCL pay for it? I know it was free. They burned, electricity and everything. But anyway, we have to go. That's another conversation for another time. But again, until then, folks, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you. And we want to say keep following us.